There's a setting inside your WhatsApp right now that most people have never opened, never configured, and never thought about. And depending on what is in it, it could be exposing your location to a server you have never heard of, operated by people you do not know every time you send a message. The setting is called Proxy. And the story behind it is more complicated and more important than most of the coverage around it suggests. WhatsApp has over 2 billion active users. It is the most widely used messaging application in the world. And since January 2023, every one of those users has had a proxy setting sitting inside their app, enabled or not, that routes their connection through a third-party server before it ever reaches WhatsApp's own infrastructure. Most users in countries with open internet access have never touched it. But in dozens of countries around the world, this setting is the difference between being able to communicate at all and being cut off entirely. To understand what the proxy feature actually does and what it does not do, you need to understand why it was built. In September 2022, the Iranian government blocked access to WhatsApp and Instagram following the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini in the custody of Iran's morality police. Her death triggered widespread protests across Iran. The government's response included a near-total shutdown of access to major communication platforms. NetBlocks, which monitors internet freedom globally, reported at the time that the network disruptions were likely to severely limit the public's ability to express political discontent and communicate freely. People trying to reach family members, coordinate protests, or access information from outside the country were cut off. WhatsApp's response was to build a workaround into the app itself. On January 5th, 2023, the company announced official proxy support for all users running the latest version of WhatsApp on Android and iOS. Meta described the feature directly. We're putting the power into people's hands to maintain access to WhatsApp if their connection is blocked or disrupted. The company's statement continued. Our wish for 2023 is that these internet shutdowns never occur. Disruptions like we've seen in Iran for months on end deny people's human rights and cut people off from receiving urgent help. Though in case these shutdowns continue, we hope this solution helps people wherever there is a need for secure and reliable communication. The BBC, The Verge, and TechCrunch all covered the feature's launch. The reporting was consistent across every outlet. Message content remains end-to-end encrypted. Neither the proxy server, nor WhatsApp, nor Meta can read the messages being transmitted through a proxy connection. WhatsApp confirmed in its blog post that the change does not affect the end-to-end encryption the service already provides. IT Pro quoted WhatsApp directly. Neither those running proxy servers, nor WhatsApp and Meta, will be able to intercept messages sent using the new method. That is the encryption picture. Your message content, when WhatsApp's end-to-end encryption is working as designed, is not readable by the proxy. The proxy is a routing mechanism, not a reading mechanism. It directs your connection. It does not open your messages. But there is a real privacy implication that the feature's launch coverage glossed over, and that WhatsApp itself buried in its help documentation. When you connect to WhatsApp through a proxy server, that proxy server can see your IP address. WhatsApp's own help page states this explicitly. Using a third-party proxy shares your IP address with the proxy provider. That is listed as a known trade-off of the feature. Your IP address is not the same as your message content, but it is not nothing. An IP address can identify your approximate physical location, the city or region you are connecting from. It can be linked to your identity by anyone with access to the right databases. In countries where political dissidents are already under surveillance, an IP address handed to an untrustworthy proxy server is exactly the kind of data that puts people at risk. The same tool built to protect protesters in Iran becomes a liability if a hostile actor operates the proxy server those protesters are using. This is the real risk, not that a proxy can read your messages. It cannot. The risk is that a malicious or unvetted proxy can log your IP address, build a record of when you connect and how often, and potentially link that metadata to your identity, all without ever seeing the content of a single message. Security researchers have documented what a bad proxy server can do beyond simple IP logging. Free or unknown proxy providers may inject malware into connections, log session metadata, or leak information about the apps you're using. WhatsApp's help page advises users to search for trusted accounts on social media that regularly post verified proxy addresses, a guidance that itself illustrates the problem. There is no official registry of safe WhatsApp proxies. There is no verification system. There is no way for an ordinary user to confirm that the proxy address they enter into their settings is operated by a legitimate volunteer organization and not by someone specifically targeting people who need to route around censorship. Authorities in 35 countries instituted internet shutdowns at least 187 times in 2022. That number had already reached 80 in the first 5 months of 2023 alone. Every shutdown is an event where people turn to tools like WhatsApp proxies to maintain communication. Every shutdown is also an opportunity for malicious actors to publish proxy addresses, targeting the people most vulnerable to having their location exposed. Now, here is what this means for you personally, depending on where you are and how you use WhatsApp. If you are in a country with unrestricted internet access and you never manually configured a proxy, this warning does not apply to your messages. Proxy use is an optional setting that is not enabled by default. WhatsApp does not silently route your connection through a third-party server without your action. Check right now, open WhatsApp, go to Settings, tap Storage and Data, then tap Proxy. If Use Proxy is toggled off and no address is entered, your connection is going directly to WhatsApp servers and no proxy is involved. If you see a proxy address in that field that you do not recognize and did not enter yourself, that is a different situation. It means someone or something has configured your WhatsApp to route through a server you have no information about. Remove it. Tap the address field, clear it, and toggle Use Proxy off. Then, check the rest of your phone's settings for apps that may have been granted permission to modify other apps' configurations. If you are someone who deliberately uses a proxy, because you are in a country where WhatsApp is restricted or because you travel frequently to regions where access is blocked, the question is not whether to use the feature, but which proxy to trust. WhatsApp has published a reference implementation on GitHub, allowing organizations to set up their own verified proxy servers. The Electronic Frontier Foundation and similar digital rights organizations have historically published verified tools and addresses for users in restricted regions. A proxy operated by a named accountable organization with a published privacy policy is fundamentally different from an address posted anonymously on a social media account. Never use a proxy address sent to you unsolicited through a text message, a messaging app, or a browser pop-up. That delivery method is a red flag regardless of what the address claims to be. Legitimate censorship circumvention tools are published by organizations with track records, not distributed through unsolicited messages. Beyond the proxy setting, the broader WhatsApp privacy picture contains real concerns that are documented and verified, and that apply to every user regardless of proxy configuration. WhatsApp's end-to-end encryption protects message content in transit. It does not protect the metadata that surrounds those messages, who you contacted, when, how often, and from where. In 2024, Meta disclosed data in response to over 78% of law enforcement requests involving WhatsApp. The metadata WhatsApp retains, contact lists, message timing, connection logs, is accessible through legal process even when the content of messages is not. WhatsApp's cloud backup feature carries a specific and significant risk. If you back up your WhatsApp chat history to Google Drive or iCloud without enabling end-to-end encrypted backup, your entire message history is stored in a cloud service that governments and law enforcement can access with a warrant. The end-to-end encryption that protects your messages in transit does not extend to unencrypted backups sitting on a third-party cloud server. WhatsApp added the option to enable end-to-end encrypted backups in 2021. It is not on by default. To check and enable it, go to Settings, Chats, Chat Backup, and then End-to-End Encrypted Backup. In January 2025, WhatsApp disclosed that nearly 100 journalists and civil society members had been targeted by spyware from Paragon Solutions, an Israeli surveillance firm. That attack did not break WhatsApp's encryption. It compromised the devices of the targets directly, meaning the messages were intercepted after being decrypted on the phone, not during transmission. This distinction matters because it illustrates the actual frontier of WhatsApp security in 2025. The encryption itself holds. What fails is device security, metadata protection, and backup security. There is one more dimension to this story that connects the proxy feature to the broader question of how WhatsApp handles user data, and it involves Meta directly. WhatsApp was acquired by Meta, formerly Facebook, in 2014 for approximately $19 billion. At the time of the acquisition, WhatsApp had around 450 million users. The founders publicly committed that user data would not be shared with Facebook. By 2016, WhatsApp updated its terms of service to begin sharing account information with Facebook for the purpose of targeted advertising. The Federal Trade Commission and European regulators both took notice. The Irish Data Protection Commission, the primary regulator for Meta's operations in Europe, fined Meta $1.3 billion in 2023 for violations related to transferring European user data to the United States in a manner that did not meet GDPR requirements. The relevance to the proxy conversation is this. The end-to-end encryption on your messages is real and documented, but WhatsApp is still a Meta product, and Meta's business model is built on data. What WhatsApp retains, the metadata surrounding your messages, your contact list, your usage patterns, your phone number, your device information, flows into Meta's advertising infrastructure. The encryption protects what you say. It does not protect the record of whom you say it to, how often, and when. India's Ministry of Home Affairs reported that in the first 3 months of 2024 alone, 43,797 complaints of cyber fraud were directly linked to WhatsApp. In Singapore, police reported in early 2025 that WhatsApp remained a primary channel for scammers targeting residents. Action Fraud in the United Kingdom reported a 230% increase in friend-in-need scams targeting WhatsApp users in late 2024, with average losses of £1,500 per victim. These are not encryption failures. They are social engineering attacks, criminals exploiting the trust users place in messages that arrive through a platform they associate with their real contacts. Understanding the difference between a compromised encryption system and a compromised user is the foundation of actually protecting yourself on any messaging platform. The practical checklist for any WhatsApp user concerned about their privacy covers 4 things. First, check the proxy setting right now and confirm it contains nothing you did not deliberately put there. Settings, storage, and data, proxy. If a proxy is active and you do not know why, remove it. Second, enable end-to-end encrypted backup if you use cloud backup. Settings, chats, chat backup, end-to-end encrypted backup. Without this, your message history on Google Drive or iCloud is not protected by WhatsApp's encryption. Third, keep WhatsApp updated to the latest version. Security patches are distributed through app updates, and WhatsApp's own troubleshooting guidance for connection and security issues begins with confirming you are running the current version. Fourth, if you use WhatsApp in a context where privacy matters, for source communication, for organizing, for sensitive personal conversations, understand that the encryption protects message content, but not metadata. Who you talk to and when is retained and legally accessible in a way that message content is not. The proxy feature is not a hack. It was not designed to compromise anyone's privacy. It was designed by WhatsApp engineers responding to governments shutting down communication for millions of people during a period of political crisis. The real risk the feature introduced is narrower and more specific than most coverage of it suggests. It is the risk of trusting the wrong proxy with your IP address in a context where your location matters. That risk is real. It is also manageable if you know what to look for. Check the setting, know what is in it, and if anything is there that you did not put there yourself, remove it now.